Today, we find out how to get a free channel on your Spektrum-equipped airplane without shelling out for a new receiver. Hey there, I'm John, this is Two Brothers RC, and these are the top 10 upgrades you can do to your plane. Let's start with number 1, which is port mapping. This technique only works with airplanes equipped with a Spektrum Avian ESC. And you need to be on the latest receiver and transmitter firmware. Those are the 3 things you need. Once more, you need an Avian ESC, you need the latest transmitter firmware on an NX class radio or IX14 or IX20 radio, and you need the latest receiver firmware for your AR420, 620, 631, 637, 8360, 10360, etc. It has to be a current generation receiver, not an old one, so ditch that AR636B and get with the times. Click the link in the description below to pick up your own USB programmer cable so that you can update your receiver if you don't have one yet, and hit the video in the description to see how Horizon suggests that you update the receiver. If you have a cable and know what you're doing already, then good news. All modern bind-and-fly aircraft from Horizon Hobby feature Avian ESCs which can send throttle signals to the bind port. So step 1 is already done if you're flying a bind-and-fly aircraft. Step 2. Move the throttle plug from port 1 to the bind port. Step 3. Move the servo lead you want to use into port 1. We'll adjust it so that the throttle stick doesn't control the servo. Step 4. Disable fast boot. This is a new feature of Spektrum receivers. If your receiver loses power, it's going to try to restart itself in the air immediately upon regaining power, but it will disable the port mapping on the new surface when it does. It's best to leave this disabled when using this technique. Step 5. Enter forward programming, then select port mapping. Step 6. Change port 1 from throttle to an open port set to auxiliary 12 or below. You can go higher than 12, but you lose resolution on the channel if you do. Step 7. Go into channel assign and ensure that the channel you're using, 7 in this case, isn't assigned to a button or a switch already. Otherwise, the servo travel may be limited by the switch range. Step 8. Go into servo settings and change the travel of the A7 channel to 150 up and down, assuming you want full possible travel. To control this new channel the way you're seeing me do it now, we need some mixes to do so. This will be a nose wheel channel the way I'm setting it up, but you can make this anything you want it to be. We'll get to that in a second. First, create a new mix. Set the master channel to rudder, set the secondary channel to A7. Set the percentages to 100 and 100. You can move the rudder stick and the servo will move too. Step 10. If you want fine-tune control over the nose wheel you just created, make another mix. This time, scroll down in the master channel list and select RT, which is short for right trim switch. This is my preferred switch to control the trim of the nose wheel. Set the rates to 50% and you'll be able to move the right trim switch to fine-tune the center position of the nose wheel, so you'll never have to pick up a bind-and-fly aircraft to trim the steering out mechanically ever again. You can even gyro stabilize the nose wheel too if you set it up in forward programming to do so. Check over the Spektrum wiki linked below in the description for more information or ask for help on Discord via discord.gg/2brosrc in the Tech and Setup channel. This technique is a complete and total game changer and opens up every 6-channel bind and fly to allow for a stabilized nose wheel in the case of the Habu XS or Airbus A320, for example. Or, if anyone remembers a while back, the E-flite A10 64mm that I hinted had something special going on with it. Yep, this is a 6-channel receiver featuring an independent gyro-stabilized 7th channel as a nose wheel. But maybe now you're curious about my Timber X and how I had full span ailerons in Crow. It's the same technique. I move the throttle plug to the bind port, then put the right aileron in channel 1 and the left aileron in channel 2, then put the flaps in channels 5 and 6. I then changed the wing type to 2 ailerons and 2 flaps and mixed in crow, full span flaps, and full span ailerons. I'm not going to show how to do that here, but if you want the setup file, it's on the TBRC Discord server via discord.gg/2brosrc. So now you've got a 7th channel, but what if you wanted more? You can add 4 more using the RC Lite System's channel expander instead of the port mapping technique. This is a fantastic device and is super easy to set up. I'll cover more about it in a future video setup guide on the new version 2 Freewing F22 90mm, but for now, know that it's an option and you can find out more in the description below. Number 2. Tighten up your transmitter. Every time I've had someone hand me a transmitter at a club to fly a plane for them, they've given me a device with short sticks and no stick tension. Personal preference reigns supreme, of course, but let me tell you right now, people like it when you got long sticks. Lengthen your sticks and you'll find it's like flying with Mechanical Expo. It's easier to control your plane, it doesn't feel like the plane is going to be super twitchy anymore, and it takes you more work to hit the outer edges of the gimbal, which improves your precision. Improve your responses even more by tightening your gimbal. There's a screw you can adjust which will make the stick feel tight or loose. Everybody wants that tight feel, trust me, loose is no fun. Make this change and watch how much easier it is to fly than it was before. Unless it's not, in which case I'm happy for you or sorry that happened, whichever applies. Number 3. Low voltage cutoff. Disable it. This is a thing that every ESC comes with preset from the factory. If you're like me, you would rather smoke a battery than smoke an airplane. They're much less expensive. Like this Super Tucano that was super happy hovering until the ESC shut power off because the battery's voltage sagged below the cutoff threshold.
This is why you disabled low voltage cutoff, because I still had plenty of power to do stuff, maybe not hover, but the plane shouldn't have fallen out of the sky, so take the time to do that.
If you've got a Spektrum ESC and receiver, it's super easy to adjust this setting from your transmitter like forward programming, except with the ESC instead of the receiver. Or you can use an ESC programmer box. Or if you're using something that isn't Spektrum, check your ESC manual and find out what stick programming is needed to do it. Hop on Discord for help via discord.gg/2brosrc. Voltage Telemetry. Anybody who tells you that telemetry sucks, or is too complicated, or shouldn't be used is wrong, and their opinions are also wrong. It's there for a good reason, so use it, and I'll explain what that reason is instead of just saying it's there for a good reason. Battery voltage is like a burrito. If you buy a burrito, you use your eyeballs to determine how much burrito remains while you eat it. You don't set a timer based on how long it took you to eat the last burrito that you bought. Just because you ate a burrito in 5 minutes last time doesn't mean that your next burrito will last 5 minutes. Maybe this time you're so hungry it only lasts 3 minutes. Or maybe you're not hungry at all this time and you put it away in the fridge for another day. Hey! Sounds like a battery, doesn't it? Except you shouldn't be putting batteries into the fridge or eating them. Batteries are just like a burrito in this analogy. If you're extra throttle hungry one day, that timer is absolutely 100% useless. You have to fly exactly the same way every single time with nearly identical wind to get a timer to work as well as telemetry does.
We flew for a grand total of 2 minutes and 50 seconds. We are ending at 30.4 volts. You can see that I'm not BSing you guys. SMC 4000 HV2 packs, 4 cells. We are now just at storage voltage, exactly where you need to be. And I'm gonna pull these little buggers out, and I guarantee you 100% they did not overheat because I didn't fly them below 29 volts. And there you go. The batteries are not mad, they're still white. They're just warm to the touch.
Want to know how to set up voltage telemetry? Check out the NX Radio tutorial which goes over it. There's a link below in the description and a card at the top right which you can check out. Now, let's dive into this a little bit more. Say you listened to me a while back and you fly SMC batteries because you heard that I fly them almost exclusively, and you saw that they top the battery tests on RC groups. But you're puffing batteries and saying SMC sucks because you puffed your packs. Without even knowing you, I'm betting confidently that you're flying without telemetry. Knock that shit off, please. If the next comment you're thinking of typing up is that voltage sag makes telemetry unreliable, actually it doesn't. It tells you exactly what the voltage is at the current time it's being measured. This means that you can see the exact condition of the battery at the time it's being flown. So if you sag it below 3.5 volts per cell, which is usually where they get damaged, you can have an alarm go off to let you know that it's time to land. If you want your batteries to last, stop abusing them. This means stop flying them below 3.5 volts per cell under load, stop recharging them when they're white hot and pissed off, and give them some time to cool down and rest. Speaking of, stop trying to fly cold batteries in winter without warming them up first. I'm personally a fan of butt stuff. Stick one in your back pocket and keep it warm until it's time to fly, or you can use hand warmers like these Zippo heat banks to keep them warm in your jacket, or your butt. Otherwise, you're just gonna piss them off, because batteries can't discharge as well in cold temperatures unless they've been pre-warmed. Number 5. Battery maintenance. Do you know somebody who leaves their battery charged for 2 weeks at a time, or even longer, maybe? Send them this video because they're killing their packs and they're running the risk of burning their house down. Dudes like this will complain about their SMC battery being trash, but they'll freely admit that they left it fully charged for weeks. Look, man, if you've got an Electron that lasts for more than a day, you need to see a discharger because that ain't healthy for the pack. Batteries can only sustain full voltage for short periods of time without taking damage. If it helps, think of it like this. Fully charging a pack and leaving it lying around for weeks is like leaving a time bomb with an unknown fuse length lying around your house. Don't do it. If you value the lifespan of your battery, never leave your batteries charged for more than 24 to 48 hours tops. Some people think that, well, yeah, I've done that, but I've never had an issue. But these people also don't have an ESR meter to check the internal resistance to see how much damage they're causing to their batteries. Said people also tend to be more likely than the average pilot to set their house on fire while charging a battery. Take care of your packs and they won't be time bombs waiting to destroy your home. Otherwise, hobby shops all over the place would be going up in flames, but they're not because batteries are not inherently dangerous unless you mistreat them. Number 6. Shift the center of gravity. The CG is the most important part of flying your plane above anything else. It is the point at which the aircraft balances on the wing, which keeps it stable in the air. If it balances too far forward, it becomes a super stable, sluggish mess that resists control input, making it harder to fly and avoid obstacles. If it balances too far aft on the wing, it becomes an unstable piece of and you'll probably crash it. You'll know if it's tail heavy because it'll porpoise up and down like a dolphin jumping out of water, or just backflip on you on rotation. Jets like the FMS Su-27 balance like a Cessna out of the box, making the aerobatics that the full-scale jet can perform completely impossible on the model. But if you balance it to be slightly tail heavy and use an AS3X Plus receiver to stabilize it, you can make it fly just as good as the full-scale Su-27, if not better. But if backflips and cobras with a jet aren't your thing, you can make almost any plane fly better by shifting the CG further back. Take the E-flite turbo timber, for example. Balance at 20mm behind the marks and it becomes a completely different airplane. It's faster because it doesn't need trim to fly level. It's more responsive, and you can do all sorts of aerobatics that you can't do with a nose-heavy center of gravity. But if you don't like doing that stuff, shift the center of gravity back for nothing else but making three-point landings super easy because you got a ton of elevator authority to slam the plane in just like a big bush plane. Number 7. If you don't like the thrust that a plane has, change out the motor. Instead of impotently complaining that the E-flite RV7 isn't a Flex RV8 that looks like a junker from the factory, swap out the stock motor to the E-flite mall motor, use a 60 amp ESC, and rip some ass. Transform this thing from a mild-mannered scale bird into a reversed hovering beast with a motor upgrade. And that's not the only plane that benefits. The E-flite Timber SWS goes from mild-mannered to your couch with a motor upgrade. You don't even have to swap out the ESC, but a new 16x8 Zor propeller really makes it scream. I mean, when it hovers, it sounds like it's ripping the sky apart. And this isn't just applicable to props. Jets can benefit from upgrading to an 8-cell motor and using a lightweight 8-cell setup too. Like the Freewing Aries, for example, which is, so far, the only stock jet out of the box that can hover like this on an 8-cell system. Want to know more about motor upgrades? Hop on Discord and ask for help from our chat community, now over 3,500 members strong. New servos. New servos can make a huge difference in how a plane flies. Every manufacturer uses servos that are good enough for what the average pilot wants to do. But if you're tired of average pilot stuff and you want to push the aerodynamic envelope of a plane, swap out the stock servos to something better. You'll see a huge difference in the way it handles because servos can completely transform how a plane flies. Good replacement servos have more torque, more speed, and more precision, making a plane feel almost completely different when you upgrade them. When it comes to the average foam airplane, they ship generally with 9-gram servos. AGFRC B11 DLS servos are my go-to recommendation for planes like the E-flite Turbo Timber, and for heavy-duty applications and faster jets that weigh a bit more, the AGFRC B13 DLM servos are also amazing, like what you see me throwing around my J10 90mm with from Freewing. Or if you're flying a jet with full flying stabilators like this Aero's MiG-29, those B13 DLM servos maxed out on travel make it possible to have Cobra time. Woo! New wheels. Wheels can make all the difference in how long a plane survives over time. Manufacturers generally use hard wheels that don't compress and make flat spots if you're the kind of person who stores airplanes on the wheels. Unfortunately, this hard wheel issue causes shocks from harder landings or flying from grass to travel straight up to the fuselage mounts and weaken the foam that holds the retracts to the fuselage. Over time, it comes loose, and you lose a retract in the grass and your plane gets all screwed up. Dubro low-bounce wheels weigh more, but deform under loads and prevent the fuselage gear mounts from taking most of the shock force. If your landing style is Navy or if you fly from grass, use softer wheels. It's worth it. Number 10. Modify the paint job. This is absolutely an essential upgrade if you're an Ace Combat fan like me. You're only getting an Ace Combat scheme with a new paint job. I've done it multiple times now. From the Ghosts of Rosgrease scheme for the Rafale in Ace Combat 5, to the Universal Peace Enforcement Organization scheme for the FMS Su-27 in Ace Combat 3, to the ISAF Mobius 1 F-22 from Ace Combat 04, I've made quite a few Ace Combat schemes, and they were all totally worth doing, and everyone who's a geek over anime meets airplanes will love you for it. But paint doesn't just have to be purely paint, you can also touch up an airplane with electrical tape. It's not just for hiding your shameful soldering job, it's also super useful to put some vinyl armor on scratch-prone areas of your plane, or to line frequently used areas like battery hatches so they don't turn into a ragged pile of crap. Electrical tape comes in all colors, but I often find myself using light gray and medium gray to protect airframes and cover up damaged areas. I've even found red tape useful on aircraft like Draco when I crashed it and scuffed it up to hell and back. Some tape really fixed it up nice and made it much harder to notice the damage from a distance. And there you have it, 10 mods you can do to your plane to add functionality, improve how they fly, and get more out of them. And as always, huge thanks goes out to our channel members on twobrosrc.com/supporters, and a very special thanks goes out to our mega fans, Sarasota RC Squadron, Michael Smith, JR Man, Todd, N411X, Jeff Baker, and High Alpha Guto, along with our Ultra fan, TBRC fan. You guys kick so much ass. Coming up soon will be the Cavan Bristol B-23 from FPVBuildsRC.com. They sent it over for us to demo, and demo we did. You're going to be surprised to see what this beautiful bird can do. See you guys next week.